Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving straight into a strategic blueprint for wealth. And, to really understand this, we're using Elon Musk's unbelievable journey as our ultimate case study. We're going to see exactly how a fundamental shift in how you think literally changes the whole shebang. So ask yourself, is wealth written in your destiny, or is it just a state of mind? It's so incredibly easy to look at billionaires and just assume, right? Assume they started with massive trust funds, rich parents, or just got super lucky breaks. But actually, scratch that. We're shattering that myth right here, right now. The real differentiator between people who struggle financially their whole lives and those who build massive empires, well, it's not their starting bank balance. It's something way, way more powerful.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is the exact 5-step wealth manifesto we'll be unearthing today. First, the poverty mindset myth. 2, big thinking and value creation. 3, investing in high-value skills. 4, calculated risks and failure. And finally, number 5, the power of energy transfer.
Starting off with part 1, the poverty mindset myth. The actual barrier to financial freedom, it's almost never a lack of capital. Instead, it's this incredibly dangerous psychological trap. On one hand, you've got the poverty mindset. This is totally obsessed with security and playing it safe. It urges people to blow their hard-earned money just to show off, buying the newest flashy gadgets or expensive clothes, literally just to look successful to the outside world. But flip that around to the wealth mindset. This is exactly how visionaries like Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Ratan Tata operated way before they ever hit it big. They didn't spend money to look rich. They invested their money and their time in courses, books, and constant growth to actually become rich. There's a really brilliant insight to pull from this. Poverty is a state of mind. Listen, being born into difficult financial circumstances is absolutely not your fault. It just happens. However, living your entire life and dying with a poor mindset, well, that's a tragic mistake. You have to actively change how you view the world. Let's move to part 2 and see how this builds big thinking and value creation. This right here is the foundational engine of the whole manifesto. It's all about fundamentally shifting your daily focus away from just consuming stuff and towards solving massive problems. There's a brutal but totally honest truth. The rich build what the world needs, while the poor stay tangled up in their own problems. If you wake up every single day and only think about your own bills, your own expenses, and your own struggles, you're capping your potential. Immense wealth is actually pretty simple. It is a direct byproduct of creating immense value. When you solve a problem that millions of other people have, the world naturally rewards you. Just to put that into perspective, think about being 12 years old. When most kids are busy just playing video games, Elon Musk decided to create one. No fancy internet tutorials, no teacher, no wealthy parents handing him a business on a silver platter. He taught himself how to code by reading books, built a game called Blastar, and successfully sold it to a PC magazine for $500. He didn't make excuses about what he lacked. He used his mind. Because resourcefulness will absolutely always beat simply having resources. Which brings us to part 3. Investing in high-value skills. Let me ask you a very direct question. If you were down to your absolute last $10 right now, what would you do with it? Seriously, think about it. The typical reaction is to either tightly hoard it away or, blow it on some quick fleeting comfort. But the wealthy instinct, the Musk instinct, is to look at that exact same money and ask, what can I learn with this? And the compounding effect of that choice over 5 years is just unbelievable. Imagine 2 completely different trajectories. On one path, the consumer spends their earnings on depreciating stuff like new phones and trendy clothes just to look smart. And by year 5, they're stuck in the exact same job, no further ahead. But on the other path, the learner takes that exact same amount of cash and buys books or enrolls in online courses. By year 5, they own a business, they're generating real wealth, and honestly, they're probably hiring the consumer. The math here is simple. Money loses value. Skills build empires. If you put money in a bank, inflation eats it for breakfast. But if you put money into your brain by learning communication, tech, or leadership, it multiplies like wildfire. Elon Musk didn't start SpaceX because someone handed him an instruction manual. No way. He literally read thousands of books on rocket science and engineering to lay the foundation himself. If you lose all your money, high-value skills will rebuild your wealth. But if you have 0 skills, no amount of money will save you in the long run. Let's jump into part 4, calculated risks and failure.
So when Musk sold PayPal, he walked away with millions. The safe move? Buy a massive mansion, sit back, and just retire comfortably. But instead, he poured his entire fortune right into his new massive dreams: Tesla, SolarCity, and SpaceX. By the mid-2000s, he had invested so much into these visions that he literally didn't have rent money. He was sleeping on his friends' couches. Then, 2008 hit. 3 SpaceX rockets exploded. The media was constantly mocking him, but he risked every last cent he had left on a 4th launch. If it failed, he was completely ruined. But it succeeded. It secured a $1.6 billion NASA contract that practically saved his entire empire.
And that creates the ultimate risk dilemma. When faced with a massive leap of faith, the poverty mindset immediately defaults to, what if I fail? And that freezes you. It forces you to play it safe, which practically guarantees an ordinary, predictable life. But the wealth mindset, it asks, what if I win? You've got to realize that true growth only ever happens on the other side of fear. Taking calculated risks is quite literally the only way to unlock the extraordinary. So, the absolutely crucial point here is that we have to completely redefine failure in our own minds. It's not this big, bad enemy that permanently stops you. It's an educational milestone. It's the ultimate teacher that prepares you for victory. When those 3 rockets exploded, Musk didn't just sit down, cry, and say his career was over. He looked at the data to see exactly what went wrong, ensuring the next launch would be incredibly smarter. Failure is just a vital data point for your next better attempt. All right, moving to our final piece, part 5, the power of energy transfer. Up until now, we've mostly talked about internal mindset shifts. But externally, there's this simple, unavoidable law of energy transfer called the 6th percent rule. If you spend your time with 5 lazy, unmotivated people who just constantly complain about their lives, the result is practically guaranteed. You will inevitably become the 6th. Your internal motivation will eventually just die out if your external circle is constantly dragging you down. However, if you actively place yourself in a circle of 5 ambitious dreamers, you'll naturally rise to their level and become the 6th. It's almost like magic.
Musk definitely didn't hang around people who told him his ideas were impossible. He deliberately built a visionary circle around himself: engineers, creatives, crazy dreamers, and relentless challengers. He surrounded himself with brilliant minds who kept his energy up, pushed back on his ideas to make them even better, and maintained impossibly high standards. You absolutely have to upgrade your circle if you truly want to upgrade your life. So, to bring it all together, here is your new wealth blueprint. 1. Elevate your mindset far above just playing it safe. 2. Stop merely consuming and start creating immense value for others. 3. Invest your money and your time aggressively into high-value skills. 4. Embrace catastrophic failure as your greatest teacher. And 5. Upgrade your circle. So what's it going to be? Are you just going to be a face in the crowd, or are you going to rewrite history? Look, being born without resources is not a life sentence, but choosing to hold on to a poverty mindset absolutely is. The formula is right there in front of you. Stop accepting an ordinary reality and start engineering your own wealth mindset today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you on the next one.